Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Kakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. And salutation to sincere Akim and Aqua and you listen. May the blessing of election be over your house. So for today, we're going to be talking about following the ways of the heathen and some of the things that have happened to our people and in doing so. Because throughout that process and following those unholy ways, those profane ways, it caused us to heap sin upon sin, committing iniquity, and eventually losing that personal connection with the Lord, with the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? So through those actions and taking on those customs, like for example those Greek customs or even the customs of Babylon, our people have lost that connection with the Lord, right? And they just end up becoming lost sheep to the slaughter, essentially, right?
And that's where we're left to our devices, and that's where under the curses as well.
And
it just gets worse because we keep going further and further off.
Right, because our people are at this point. Our people are just sick.
Sottish.
Sottish children, like it says in Jeremiah 4 verse 22. That just means stupid, right? And our people don't want to hearken to the voice of the prophets, the men of the Lord and the elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, and this is what happens to them. They get punished, right?
They always wonder why they're in this state. The amount of Jakes I've talked to, and some of them don't. They won't believe in Yahweh because they're like, oh well, if he loved us, because well, that's another thing the Christian churches do. They make you think they tell people it's all about love, so they get confused when they go through hardships. And these people are always wondering, oh, if you love me so much, why am I going through this hell?
Right. Yeah, but that's the thing too. The Lord does these things because that's written in, I think it's Hebrews the 12th chapter. About children. A son that is not chastised is considered a bastard. But because our people are being chastised, the Lord is actually trying to show that affection for us because we're the only people he deals with. If you want to get that, because us going through this hell, like especially like in the faith, why we go through this hell is because the Lord is showing his affection for us. I think it's Hebrews 12 verse 6.
Hebrews 12 and 6. For whom Yahweh loveth, he chasteneth, and scornage every son whom he receiveth.
Verse, can you read? Okay, yeah.
If ye endure chastening, Yahweh dealeth with you as with sons.
Right. So the purpose of the chastening is not a pleasant experience, but it's an experience that is supposed to make us consider, one, our ways, and two, to purge us of the things that of the impurities that that are in us, right? That is the purpose of chastising. It's supposed to lead us to that correction and lead us to a more righteous path rather than a wicked path.
And finishing off, for what son is he whom the Father hath chasteneth not?
Wait, can you read the next verse as well?
But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons.
Right. So the Lord is not chastening you. The Lord is dealing with you as a bastard. He considers you a bastard. So people like the nation of Edom, the so-called white people, they're be considered bastards because they are not being chastised like the nation, especially us in the faith, us in the truth, we are the ones that are being chastised.
Right? Said he will not spare the rod.
Exactly. But yeah, so I have a precept in regards to our people not hearkening to the voice of the prophets. Could you go to Jeremiah 25 verse you start at verse 4.
Jeremiah 25 and 4. And Yahweh hath sent unto you all his servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them, but ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear.
Right. So the Lord has sent the prophets, on the highways and byways to actually teach us the correct path of how we should walk. In Psalms 119 and 9, it says, how should a young man cleanse his way? By cleaving to this word, just to roughly paraphrase. But, our people are not cleaving to these words, right? They rather cleave onto the things of the heathen, such as Christmas and Easter. And, like, first of all, I don't even understand how bunnies are associated with eggs. I'm just going to put that out there. Because, first of all, bunnies don't even lay eggs. So our people should really try and they don't have any sort of direction at all.
People just go along with it. They're like, oh, it's just fairy tale. It doesn't mean anything. And then they call you a party pooper or party pooper if you don't go along with it.
You're raining on their parade.
I know when I was telling one of my clients about how the origins of Christmas, they say, oh, you're a party pooper. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you fucking retarded? Like, how? Like.
Yeah, they don't have any understanding of what a lot of these traditions go back to and the origins of these traditions, right? And I tell you, okay, don't put these away. Okay, these are the things you should keep, and this is the purpose of us prophesying on the highways and byways, because this is this is us feeding the flock, and this is us telling you, okay, these are not things that you should do, rather than walk in these other ways, walk in the laws and statutes and commandments, because these are the things that actually set us on high, right? These are the things that set us above all the other nations, like it says in Deuteronomy 7 verse 6. Right?
And
if you want to bring something else.
Yeah, and I have 2 Kings 17 open here. This is talking about why Israel fell.
Mm-hmm.
So why we are in our current state.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start off at 7. I think the point, the whole thing's a point, but I can go pretty far down. For it was that the children of Israel had sinned against Yahweh their power, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the statues of the heathen, whom Yahweh cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. So they, instead of walking in Yahweh's statues, they followed the statues of the land that they were in. Of the heathen, just like today.
Today, okay, yeah. Like it says in Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. Right? So it happened back then, and it's still happening now. Right? But, like it says in Isaiah, that, our people doth not consider.
And next verse, and the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against Yahweh their power, and they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they think they're doing it secretly, but Yahweh sees everything. But that's what makes it even more vain, because they think they could hide things from their creator.
Right.
And then they built up statues and other statues to hail these other so-called gods. Like, it's insane. You know how powerful your power is, your ruler is, but yet you're going to create other things that are made by your hands to worship.
Yeah, they're worshiping the creation rather than the actual creator.
And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. Just like today, you see people worshiping every single thing, worshiping everything.
Yeah, that happened also in Egypt as well. There was a temple called the Serapeum, and it was dedicated to Serapis Christus, which was just an older version of present day Jesus Christ, right? And they had a whole temple, dedicated to this one person, which is was just a combination of Greek and Egyptian gods. That's what Serapis. You can Google this. Serapis Christus goes into, right? Yeah, so they were even doing that back then too. So so like I was saying earlier, nothing new is under the sun. Everything happened before then is still happening to this day, but it's just under different veneers, right? Like a Christian veneer or
Catholic.
Catholic. Which, by the way, if you go into the etymology, that means universal, right? Catholicos. But, you have any more on that, or you want me to bring a precept?
I'll read a little bit more. And they burnt the incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom Yahweh carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke Yahweh to anger. For they served idols, wherefore Yahweh had said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing. Yet Yahweh testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like to the neck of their fathers that did not believe in Yahweh their power.
Oh, so that just shows that Israel is a very, very stubborn. They're just a stubborn people.
Very stubborn people.
Yeah, because you can't tell them anything. They hate correction. There's a proverb that says, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, because they got comfortable. They're like, oh, well, why do we have to listen to this guy? Why do we?
Yeah.
And and it's funny because that's what they're thinking. They're thinking this guy, not our power. They're saying, why do we have to listen? Because why would you? If you know him, he can destroy you. He can destroy you with man, and you're gonna harden your neck against him.
Wait, this is.
And ignore the prophets, just like today. They're like, what? I don't believe in God. I have some ideas for God to rule. Because I remember a man came up to the camp and said that I have some ideas for God.
Wow.
I remember a man said at the camp. Like,
wow. Wow. Hold on. I know there's a script in Proverbs on that.
While you're looking for that, I'll read another verse. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers and his testimonies, which he's testified against them. So they willingly rejected the testimony as well. And the promises made with their previous fathers, because they want to go off and be wicked. And they followed vanity and became vain and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Yahweh hath charged them that they should not do like them. So they want to be vain. They want to go do whatever they please. They want to go eat shrimp. They want to go eat lobster. They want to go and just live a vain life, and do whatever they please. No accountability.
Hold on, let me see if I can find that scripture.
And there's still the same way today, creating their own gods, trying to create their own beliefs, trying to downplay God, or just saying that the Bible's a story, things along those lines.
Actually, let me read this one. Hold on. Okay, this is Ecclesiastes 2, verse 14. And it reads, A wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. And myself perceive also that one event happened to them all. So, okay, let me read verse 15 as well. Then said I in my heart, as it is happeneth to the fool, so it happeneth even to me. And why was I then more wise? Then I said in mine heart that this is also vanity. Right? So just, walking in the things that are just pleasing to you is just it serves no purpose. Those things don't lead to anything beneficial. Oh, I was reading Ecclesiastes 2 and 14 to 15. Right.
Just so you guys can see it on the screen here.
Right.
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. So it doesn't lead to anything edifying, right? The Lord gave us a way that we had to walk, and we had to walk on that, so that way He could set us on high. Right. But because we kept heaping sin upon sin, we became like disconnected from the Lord, right? This is Isaiah 59, verse 1. And it says, Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear. Verse 2, But your iniquities have separated you from your power, and your sin has hid his face from you, that he will not hear. So the Lord hid his presence from us. Right? Because we were just heaping sin upon sin. We wanted to do the things of the heathen, do the things that are pleasing to the flesh, wrap up Christmas gifts and, celebrate birthdays and all these satanic practices. And, we didn't want to listen, right? Your hands are defiled with blood and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies, your tongue hath muttered perverseness. Right? So, we did things that were just pleasing to ourselves rather than actually pleasing to the Lord, right?
Once again, vain.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
I have another precept in.
This is why we get devoured by the heathen as well, right? Because scriptures say that when a man's ways please the Lord, even his enemies are made at peace with him. But this is why the enemies are so easy. We're so easy to be devoured by the heathen when we're going off, and they know this.
And it makes it easier to control as well when you're just living vainly. They know okay, if we just help them please their flesh, then they're gonna be, we can tame them. We can guide them. We can make them do whatever we want.
Exactly. They're so easy to be. We can make money off of them. We could put them up and dress them up however they want. With all this moral compass and without the presence of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, we're just sheep, just waiting just to get slaughtered. Essentially.
They give them entertainment.
That's all you are.
Give them entertainment, give them strip clubs, and then they get a little 9 to 5. They can pay their bills just barely, and they're happy. Because their vain flesh is tamed for the time being. I have a scripture in Isaiah 1:4. All sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters, they have forsaken Yahweh, they have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger, they are gone away backward. Why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more, the whole head is sick and the whole heart faint.
Yeah, so that represents the condition of our people. This is why we need Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, because he's the physician that he's able to heal us.
Okay.
But, our people don't want to hearken, and they just want to follow the ways of the heathen. And what does that lead to? It just leads to death. It leads to our destruction. Like, I don't understand, like, the like, single mother, like, just as an example, like, single mother family household. It's not something, it's not a practice that leads towards life. Yeah, the alphabet lifestyle doesn't lead toward what's it called, prosperity or any sort of life continuing a lineage. It doesn't lead to anything like that. It leads to death,
destruction, right. Confusion.
Exactly.
And one more, the last script.
Okay.
From the sole of the foot, even, which is pretty much what you're saying here. From the sole of the foot even onto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment, which is pretty much exactly what you're saying. It just causes more pain and more pain.
Yeah,
more destruction.
All those sores are just what has continuously happened to us from generations. Slavery and Jim Crow, the Buffalo Massacre, what Christopher Columbus did when he came across to this side of the world. Like, all those are just sores that are still left on the mental psyche of our people, right? But I have an example. Hang on, let me just get this last script here of an example.
What was it?
This is 2 Maccabees 4. And we'll start at 7 just to establish some context. So this is 2 Maccabees 4 verse 7. But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes took the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Onias, labored underhand to be the high priest, promising unto the king by intercession 360 talents of silver, and another revenue 80 talents. So just some clarification. So Seleucus is one of the generals that came up after Alexander. So Alexander had 4 generals, and Seleucus was one of them, right? And out of Seleucus, that Seleucid line, came this wicked king named Antiochus, who began to place a lot of hell upon our people, right? So there was an agreement. So Jason, being this high priest, he was going to pay this guy, very handsomely, so to speak, right? And eventually start to build up all these different, how do you call it, like Greekish fashions that would cause our people to go off. So it says in verse 9, beside this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise for the training up of youth in the fashion of the heathen, and to write them Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians. So already here you're seeing that our people are they're they're going into those customs of the Greeks. So this is during the Greekish, the Greek the Greekish Empire, the Grecian Empire, Salakia, right? And then from that, you actually start to see our people starting to lose their heritage. So they're no longer calling themselves Israelites. They're starting to call themselves, all these different bywords that's listed in the curses from Deuteronomy 28, starting at the 16th verse. Let's see. So verse 10, it reads, which when the king had granted, he had gotten into the hand of rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to Greekish fashion. So I'm going to skip down to, okay, so verse 12 is where I want to get the point. Actually, let's read verse 11. And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews. So, a lot of people got rewarded, with all this money, for not following the covenants, the law, statutes, and commandments, for breaking those commandments, right? So you have a lot of those people today would be like your present day, like Shaq or Charles Barkley or Michael Jordan. They got paid lots of money, and then they had to do things to
Black Boule.
Exactly. They had to do things to advance themselves in the society, but they broke a lot of these law, statutes, and commandments. Like, let's just use Kanye as an example.
Or sellouts.
Exactly.
Because they're doing the same thing, but they're fake staying and leading other people the same direction.
Yeah, the scriptures say that the blind lead the blind, they all fall down in a ditch. And these people are still blind, right? And it reads, John, the father of Apolemius, who went an ambassador to Rome for amity and aid, he took away, putting down the governments which are according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law. For he built a place of exercise under a tower itself, and brought chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat. Right? So that's not something our people are supposed to wear, because covering your head is showing that you're dishonoring your power, right? I think it says that in, I think it's 2 Corinthians or 1 Corinthians 14, right? So this is just an example of our people doing things and then disregarding the law, statutes, and commandments, right? So going back to the precept I read earlier, this is why the Lord hid his face from us, right? That's all I got. If you got anything else,
I'll bring out one more. Jeremiah 8 and 5. We can finish off with this one. Oh, Salak, I went to 5. Jeremiah 8 and 5. Yeah. Why then is the people of Jerusalem slidden back by perpetual backsliding? They hold fast deceit. They refuse to return.
Yeah, they refers to return to their place of habitation, their place of rest, comfort, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Right? They rather go to these other places, like, they rather drink from these other, like, these broken cisterns, church, Islam, these PhD schools.
So-called scholars.
So-called scholars, exactly.
Listening to Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, right? They rather drink from these broken fountains, right, that don't lead and don't give you any rest and don't give you actually any edification for your souls.
Or they try to add in what they think it means.
Khan, exactly. The scriptures say that his ways are higher than our ways.
Khan.
You know, this is why we need direction. This is because there's a reason we're called lost sheep. Right? Sheep need a shepherd.
Khan.
Right? Khan.
Verse 6, I hearkened and heard, but they spake not aright. No man repented him of his wickedness, saying, what have I done? Everyone turned to his course, as the horse rusheth into battle.
Right.
Yea, the stork in the heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming. But my people know not the judgment of Yahweh.
Yeah.
How do ye say, we are wise, and the law of Yahweh is with us? Lo, certainly in vain made he it, and the pen of the scribes is in vain.
Khan, our people don't know. Yeah, our people don't know the true nature of the Lord. That's really what
They think it's love. They think he only
Yeah.
he cares for every single person who wants to be saved. He thinks that our people think that, oh, if you're a so-called Amorite, you could just, you're following another religion, or you're following another so-called power, you can be saved. You don't believe in God, but you can be saved. You're not an Israel, but you can. That's what they think. It's just all love. He came for every single person on this planet, which obviously doesn't say.
Yeah, that's a false balance, and
Khan.
it's a false balance is an abomination, right? So, yeah, that's all I've got, actually.
Yeah, we'll close up on that.
Yeah, we'll just close up. All right, so, hopefully this lesson was edifying, and just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Till next time, we say,
Shalom.